Hello, everyone watching at home. You're with Adelaide Eternal again. We are Sarven, McLinton, and Beckett Wolfe. And we are going through Beckett's hot run into the top 8 of the Bluebell Open in mid-May 2024. So, Beckett, why don't you tell us all about it?
Well, yeah, it's exciting, mate. I thought I was so far out of the meta. But
I hadn't played Highlander in 2 years.
yeah, yeah.
You're like, give
Haven't-
me a deck.
Yeah, have and you know what? It worked out, but I come up against an opponent and Dean, who was my colleague from South Australia, also made top 8. I think played this player and gave me the hot intel that he was on a combo deck, and he called it what did he call and I'd never heard of it, and I was like, oh, all right, well, I don't know what it does. So I also furiously looked through Moxfield trying to find it. But yeah, like this game, I gotta say, made me feel like, oh, like I've noticed that I've been out of the meta.
Interesting. Well, so this is really interesting because you're facing a combo deck, and as we were discussing, and you can go over the deck tech in round one for anyone who's watching at home. I basically said this is the best deck to play. Just play initiative, stew of the best cards that are all 0 points, and have a companion. Like just no, no brainer magic. Let's be proactive, play threats, and kill our opponent. Like that mid-range plan, like kind of slightly proactive mid-range plan, should be a dog to combo. So you should be terrified. Like on paper, that's how the pie works. The
Yeah,
which
the
um,
rock paper scissors
it's which the
of
rock paper
Magic.
scissors of Magic, and
Mm.
combo is what you play to defeat a mid-range metagame. Like everyone's playing mid-range. Okay, well, enjoy your creatures, enjoy your value, generating value, because I'm just going to combo off and kill you, and you have no interaction for me. So you should be terrified.
Well, it's also the hot seat in being quarterfinals now. You know, everyone's had a little bit of a break, a palate cleanser. It's dawning on you that, okay, we're not just here for like we really, I mean, I always really want to win and I take it pretty seriously. But yeah, there's certainly a level of like, all right, like I really want to win this. Let's get real serious.
And this
Um,
hand does not beat combo.
no, and I gotta say,
Nothing.
the
Yeah.
way to beat
Like
combo
that
with mid
with your creatures.
the way to beat combo with mid range is, I think, just you got to know their deck inside out, how it works. Like if you want to learn how to beat breach combo, play with the deck a couple times. You don't need to master it, just play with it a couple times, learn the cards, learn how easy it is to combo off, how resilient it is to this and that. I used to play StarCraft 2, Sarv, and I played Protoss, and my match win percentage against Protoss was like 80%, and then my match win percentage against all the other races were like 20%, because I knew how that race
Yeah.
interacted. Um, and so like I knew how strong they were, like what sort of things they were building. It's the same with Magic. Like if you want to be good at combo, you got to know how it
Enemy.
works.
Yeah. And so here they have a great opening. They know exactly your hand, and they know it's like clear. It's all clear. I can go off, like
Yeah,
whenever I want to, you've got nothing. I'm going to go off.
I couldn't agree. I felt really bad after the probe. It's funny how such an innocuous zero mana card, like a lot of people see probe as just this little free cycle. It felt bad that I was like, oh, I'm exposed.
You have all the information that you need to know what to do, when to
I
do
was at school taking a math test, and I looked down and I wasn't wearing any pants. That's how it felt.
You heard it here. That's what
And I hadn't studied.
probe
And
does.
I hadn't studied.
You went for your presentation, and then you forgot your diorama at home.
That's right. Let me tell you about Napoleon, this French guy.
And then you look
Whoa.
down and you're also not wearing pants.
And everyone's laughing, and then it goes like the laughing fades out, but the camera keeps going on the kids like slow-mo laughing faces.
It's slow motion. And meanwhile, look at this. Just turn to 2 sources of fast mana going off into Khan, the Great Creator.
Yeah.
Like,
Doesn't want swords to plowshares. Nah.
no. No, why kill a mana dork when you can just Khan the Great Creator and then go and lock you out somehow. So what's the card that was pitched? Ensnaring Bridge. Oh, okay, yeah. That just is the nail in the coffin of any hopes that you have for beatdown, because that's the way to beat combo. If you have the chance, especially if you're on the play, you're not here, but if you're on the play, you can like haste creature. Yeah, let's beat.
Yeah, let's talk about a pretty good rip there in Laelia for exactly 3 mana haste. And we were talking in the earlier video about how just haste is a
Two
good
power.
mechanic, like in Highlander right now. I can't say the same for modern or legacy. Like, abilities are always good, but trample is good, first strike's good, death touch. Haste in particular just seems to be really resonant with Highlander right now, and that's
And
why.
interestingly, that attack there, which was like, it looked like a sick rip, but I mean, there's many other avenues to that. Like if that was a noble hierarch and you just forced for 1, you'd also be able to kill it with an attack for 3.
Yeah, and look, I probably would have been able to just play Carvu and pressure it out eventually.
It's definitely a good rip, but also the deck's built to do that, right?
Yeah. And so I figure now with Bridge, the game is going to really gum up and go slow. So I want to install the Monarch mechanic quick while my opponent's got exactly 2 cards. And I can't imagine a way that they're going to get it back easily. So I'm imagining like a really slow game where I just can't get out of Bridge. But I have Chaos Defiler in hand, so I know Monarch's going to be good because I can at least generate value.
Yeah, and you can get the
while
land
I'm
to
waiting.
get the Chaos Defiler out to kill the Ensnaring Bridge.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
nice.
So yeah, that's an example of fourth being good just to install the Monarch into the game for no other reason really.
And you've like threaded the needle. It doesn't mean you've won. Like all it's done is you've got a window or an avenue to winning, like a path that you could take. Whereas if you didn't do this, you pretty much would have been locked out of the game. So you got a particular avenue, but it is by no means over. Your opponent could easily just combo off here.
No, I mean, even if you just treat Ensnaring Bridge, I mean, I still need to find the answer. Like the Ensnaring Bridge just shuts off so much of my my deck.
And you basically just need to draw 1 land, because if you play Delighted Halfling next turn and then have a land in the next 2 turns to play Chaos Defiler, it really unlocks it. But you won't have much pressure in that case. Like you won't actually have much on the board to be able to kill in 1 swing, and they could do something to win easily within those.
Yeah. Plus, I don't know much about the deck. I can tell it's combo. I mean, it's playing LED and Echo and Wingate, like it's obviously combo. And I looked up, I was a bit of a cheeky boy. I looked up my opponent on Moxfield and searched their recent deck list history, and I found their most recent deck list. So you might have seen me flick over to Moxfield earlier. So I was like, it was a bit different, but I got a general sense of what they were on from that.
Yeah. What kind of avenues to victory they might have. And
Exactly.
this is really, it's really bold because they did a draw 7, which allows you to attack. But if there was ever a time to do a draw 7, it was that turn when you only had built out like 5 power of creatures.
Yeah, I'll pay that. Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely the window. They took the window, and their plan is probably to win next turn.
But you're right. I do get to attack, which means I get a Laelia.
You get Laelia.
Priest is not good versus combo.
No thought to like playing Queen Marquesa as your other haste creature and just trying to put as much damage on them as possible this turn. Just like don't worry about drawing a card with Laelia.
Well, my logic was,
You're
think,
gonna play Thalia anyway.
yeah, I think they're on I know they're on a sort of wheels deck because they're playing Echo. So most Echo decks want to play like Twister Effect and then play their hand out in 1 turn. So I know, and we haven't seen any creatures. So I know Thalia is going to be good.
Thalia is going to be good, and you're going to be able to build out the mana base with the tapped Triome, so that oh wait, that guy's gone. The little domain creatures, because it got wheeled.
Yeah, domain's gone. Yeah, but this importantly, Thalia will keep my opponent's cards in hand. Because even if they can cast spells with lots of mana, it's going to be difficult. It might actually be difficult for them to get down for Bridge.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, yeah. The Thalia, I've I haven't gone as deep as Vryn Wingmare and those kind of, 3-drop Thalia taxing effects in my main deck, but I've really liked Thalia main deck.
Yeah,
Just
I've really liked it too. I liked it more than I thought. I was going to cut it when I first saw your list, and then I tested with it, and I didn't do that much testing, I have to say, because maybe I only had like a 4 days worth of testing, but it was so good in testing, so much better than I thought. And like we've all played with and against Thalia, like it's been a staple for so long in so many formats. But I gotta say it was better than I thought. Balance, huh?
yeah, balance. How about that? That's an excellent way of getting rid of Thalia.
Pretty good.
All of your threats are gone. And now, I mean, you're going to get paid now for having Queen Marquesa in hand, like having the haste threat.
Yeah. But I gotta say, even though that was a um, pretty good balance. I even think that the tax there was probably relevant for bridge. Like there's every chance my
Mm.
opponent could have played, I don't know, like a talisman or just like like a
Just
mana
put one
rock
card
and
out.
balance
Yes.
and just really burn that hand down and then set themselves up even more next turn. So even that one, they were in the tank for a long time. So it wasn't just a clean snap, yep, balance, see you later. Um, so it's hard to know how effective Thalia is, but I gotta say, even that, I actually felt pretty good about it. I thought I've still got Monarch. I
You,
know Thalia did some work. My opponent's on bridge, but they've still got 5 cards in hand. Inventor Sphere is actually a little scary because if the game goes long, they are like gaining a little bit of life and they have that, you know,
yeah.
ability to like find a needle, like a specific answer.
Generally, and it was good for them to do this setup turn with balance and so on because they know that the worst case scenario they're going to take like 4 damage from a Minsk and Boo haste creature or a questing beast or something. Like haste coming out of nowhere is not going to kill them from 7 life. So they did a good thing there to set everything up to be able to combo off and win next turn. Like that, I can see that it wasn't that risky, to be sitting there at 7. And they've also got this emergency get out of jail free card with Lion's Eye Diamond
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
scenario,
It's
don't
a
die.
really good point. Yeah. And they can potentially build back from that with the Inventors Fair.
Hmm.
Because I have to find a way to win. And we looked at it and we thought this this is really funny, right? Trap, right, does 5 damage. So I thought, oh, I can kill them with trap.
Hmm.
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns to get back to trap. Inventor's Fair will gain them 5 life
Ventus Fair outpaces Trap.
what's the same? It's on par.
So,
So I can't just like trap them forever.
oh, that's great. Yeah, this is really interesting. So I would have been tempted to just play Queen Marquesa previous turn and just start attacking under the bridge. But I can see here that it's the haste creature is always better in hand, right? Like set
Yes,
your board
yes,
up, they do some math, and then you're like, I know I have a haste creature, you don't know I have a haste creature. It's always going to break the parity. So getting the haste creature
absolutely.
out early and then being like attack for three, and they're just inventors fairing up again. Um,
It
it
ruins their maths. Yeah, it ruins their previous maths.
I like it.
I couldn't agree more. Plus, introducing the initiative is the same logic as introducing the monarch. I don't think they're going to be able to get it back from me very easily, and I think the game is still a sort of locky, slow game. So I think that I'll slowly get triggers on it, which can
Mhm.
only help.
Nice. Well, so far you have played a game against combo much longer than you should have played against like, there's been so many times that I'm sure if we were looking at the hand of your opponent, that there were so many times where you should be dead, but their Thalia was out, or like there's just one thing, and you just couldn't get killed.
And they've got Khan back, of course, because we twisted or echoed. Um, and yeah, like you might think I want a Lost Well here to dig for Chaos to file. Actually, I can't even remember. I think I go for Forge because I want to trap them and kill them with Queen Marchesa.
Hmm.
Um, and they do this liquid. I'm sure you guys have seen the liquid metal Khan stuff.
Yeah,
That
it
little
makes it like
combo.
basically a dark steel ingot. What's it? A dark steel, the hockey puck just does nothing.
Yeah, and then they can start killing it with Khan.
Yeah,
So
destroy.
if you turn the land into an artifact, then you uptick on Khan, and the land becomes a 0/0 and instantly dies.
And otherwise, whilst it's your turn, just be like, okay, you can't Rishiden port your land.
Yeah. So it's a really elegant two-piece or one-piece combo because Khan finds it, plays it, it has value as soon as it enters,
Mhm.
and then it actually starts slowly gaining card advantage.
So just checking there, you were thinking about floating the mana of Xanders and cycling the troll, or versus keeping the troll?
Yes,
That's
because
really disciplined. Like, I think so many people would just snap that off, cycle it, and just get the land. But clearly, land is not your bottleneck.
correct, yeah. It's hard because the bridge, it's like there's a scenario where I never troll,
Yeah.
but my opponents played um the Echo, so I figured they might have other twisters, and you never know. There might be a scenario where troll is relevant
Hmm.
as a creature, even if I'm sacking it with bombardiers or something like that.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know?
And here comes Bombardiers, the egregiously zero-pointed card, um, ready to attack and fling the things that are too big.
Yeah,
And so this is really interesting because uh, if it attacks, you get to fling no matter what.
yeah. So you might have missed it there. This is another thing that is specific to Modo.
Mhm.
I quickly rushed through my attack step, so my opponent rushed through it as well.
They
They
weren't
should have stopped at begin combat and cracked LED, because if they stopped, paced themselves and did the maths, they could have cracked LED and survived.
Mhm.
But the Bombardier's swing and throw the Adventurer is lethal.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And that's
you can do little mind games in Modo that you can't do in paper.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think that if your opponent did sack the Lion's Eye Diamond,
They're
uh,
fine.
they they get rid of all their lands, they get rid of all of their hand. They end up stabilizing at 7 life and then going up 8, 9, 10. They lose 5 from the forge, but it's basically they're always going to be on like 2 or above, right? Like
Yep.
2 to 7, right? And if they keep playing their cards out of hand, they're literally, even though they can't lose, they can't win. They also can't lose. So inevitably, they'll probably find a way to combo.
Well, they can Khan as well. They've got the Khan liquid metal. So they can slowly start hitting my land, start killing my creatures.
Lock you out, destroy your things.
Yeah, and it's a race. Like I've got Chaos to follow, I've got Pride Mage, like I've got ways to kill them. But I mean, it was the difference between they had a legitimate game to, I mean, maybe they just didn't see the line, but it really felt like they'd rushed through. And I just like quickly hit F1, get to the attack step. Oh, actually, I hit F6. You might not know this in Moto. If you hit F6, it doesn't actually skip your turn. It will always, maybe, again, don't do as I do or do as I say. Double check. Don't do this at home. But if you hit F6 in Moto and you've got a creature that can attack, doesn't have summoning sickness, it will stop you at attack step and give you the option, do you want to attack? Same with blocking. So if I F6 there and my opponent rushes through, it will give me a choice to attack with Bombardier. So that's what I did. I hit F6 there.
Nice. And so, yeah, I think that if they had sacked the Lion's Eye Diamond, there was a legitimate game, but you were drawing live to Khazali Pride Mages and so on like that as well. So it would have been an interesting match to see. But looking at your sideboarding, look at this. Look in the pile of 10. Look at the massive amount of interaction
There's
that
a
you have
lot going
access
on,
to,
yeah.
and that's not even including like choke, for example. You don't necessarily need to bring in choke if you only see a couple of islands from them. You see lots of non-basic land type blue sources, but it's a pile. And this is kind of how we built the deck, where you just have your main deck is all pressure with a little bit of disruption in the form of creatures, but no just like dead cards, no Thought Seizers. And then post board, 10 cards, vroom, just like all this interaction against combo, our worst matchup, just
Yeah.
combo.
Absolutely, Sarv. Like and Thali is still worth it. Like the 10, such a high creature count in the start that 20 creatures and it's probably something like 15 spells post board is still really good
Yeah, exactly.
against a deck like this. So
Yeah, I think like what's our main deck was like 30 like it's basically half creatures. The main deck is so close to 30. It's ridiculous. And then uh I think I have to have a look at my nono blue design mistakes on. It's close to
I
30.
think you're either 29 or 30.
Yeah, something like that.
I reckon it's 29 and Grist is technically a creature in some respects.
It's just so much pressure. So yeah, your game ones generally allow you to just beat the beat down. And so this is interesting. So you're on the draw, but you have death right, so it makes you on the play because usually combo decks don't answer your mana dork. Post
Correct.
board
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
different though.
Yeah. Like post board, I guess I expect a few more sweepers, but not necessarily fatal push. Most people don't have fatal push effects in their board.
Mm-hmm.
They've got, like Brother's End or Toxic Deluge or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But blue green struggles with that as generally. And we saw my opponent had bridge in the board, and this is not a format with 4 cards that you can consistently, like if you're playing modern, it's better to keep your sideboard cards in your sideboard because Carlin can find them.
Yep.
But here I'm expecting cards like Ensnaring Bridge because they just don't have the colors otherwise.
And here we can see the power of the 0 point fast bond. Fast bond was a card that I wanted at 0 points for a long time, and now it is, and it's still not good. Just telling everyone, it is building into combo and building into lands and so on, like interactions with synergies like that. Is something that should be 0 points. You should be encouraged to do synergistic things because right now the format is anti-synergy. It's like one big solid threat that turns sideways and kills you. Like you don't need to build synergy in your deck. You just need to have proactive things and turn them sideways. So there's now an incentive to do combo things. Like, yeah, I will build my deck with this kind of, something around fast bond. Because it's 0 points. So hopefully more people will brew like this, and it's great to see a deck playing fast bond recently 0 pointed in the top 8.
Absolutely. It's such a beautiful card, Sarv. I mean, it's old school. It's got a great aesthetic. It's got a great concept. It's quotation marks fair, like you lose the life. You gotta play around it, You can't just chuck it into a junk list for fun. It
Mm-hmm.
is a build around. It's such a beautiful card. That's why we play Highlander, right? That's why I play to see old school cards like this mixed with new meta, you know?
Nice. Yeah, that's why we're playing it. I did
Which is
find
what we play for.
I did find my mono blue design mistakes, and yeah, I'm in excess of 30 because Grist, Fourth Aerolingus, Green Sun Zenith, um, all count as creatures, and technically Once Upon a Time counts as a creature. Fable of the Mirror Breaker counts as a creature. Yeah, so it's like more than 30, 32 or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all pressure.
It's certain. Yeah, it's all gas.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're never on the back foot. You're always a beat down.
yeah,
Speaking of, in comes Seasoned Dungeoneer.
yeah. What's my opponent been doing? They Sylvan Scrying for
Setting
Saga.
they've set up and they've set up Urza Saga, which will gum up the board for a little bit and then find a combo piece at the end. Often things like Candelabra and other types of like one
It's
mana.
scary. I gotta say, I'm always scared of the artifact 1 drop.
Yeah, Saga is so good at everything it does. Saga is a beautiful card. It
Yeah,
just
it's great.
does everything you want to do. Um,
Because it could be Mana Crypt or like Soul Ring or some piece of gas. It could be something like a Graph Digger's Cage to switch your combo off.
yeah,
Or like you say, it could be this like powerful card like Candelabra that just helps them combo win.
yeah,
I'm
so.
always terrified of it.
Mhm. And there's a lot of setup here. Ponder as well, setting up something. And manifold key. Like this is terrifying. This is this is the spot where you're like, well, I guess I'm about to lose as a mid-range. Oh, look at my creatures.
But there's a serenity in that, Sarv, in that I'm just a big dumb meathead who's gonna play my creatures. Like I'm just like I just imagine me like facing my opponent here with this like dumb expression on my face, like, am I allowed to turn them sideways yet?
Like
You
your
let me know.
first
You let
first
me know
time
that I turned them sideways.
playing against a control deck, being like, is it my turn yet? um, but this I think this is a really interesting decision point. So a lot of people will go down the Lost Well, to scry because post board you had 10 new cards, 10 cards that are really good against your opponent's deck. So you could go down Lost Well and be like, I definitely want to find that new card, that sideboard card, and I want to interact with you. But there is a certain level of relief that your opponent has when they're like, they didn't attack me for 4 extra damage over the next 2 turns,
Yeah,
which is
it's a
one
whole turn.
turn. Like it's literally they will die 1 turn sooner.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think this is a
For
really
me, it was hardly even a decision, especially when you consider that I can trap. I mean, it's almost like 2 turns with the
yeah,
trap because
they're gonna
it's like 9 damage, right? Because it's 2 from Forge this turn, it's 2 from Forge next turn, and it's 5 from trap.
Mhm.
9 damage, that's a turn.
It's like right side is find interaction to stop their combo. Left side is time walk. And
Yeah,
usually as the beat down, it's correct to time walk than to interact with them.
yeah. And for those at home, you might be able to see the play here. As someone who's only ever seen Initiative for the first time 4 days ago, I am now a fully fledged master of Initiative cards.
You're an expert now.
Yes.
You're like all your magic skills. Don't worry about that. Just go into the
The,
dungeon.
the
Go into
wise old sage say, play Initiative, go to dungeon.
sage advice. Here's the deck tech. Put the initiative cards in your deck, turn them sideways,
So
go into the side.
I've got a cool little play here with White Plume. I had not even read White Plume up until 4 days ago.
Didn't even know it had been banned in Legacy,
Yeah.
in Highlander.
Yeah.
And look at this. You have 2 points on the board. 2 white cards. 3 points. You have 3 points on the board. 3 creatures.
Yeah. And so I got to Shaman, White Plume, untap Shaman, and my Arbor Elf can untap Bayou. So it's 4 damage there. So White Plume put me into trap and switched on an extra 2 damage from Shaman. So it did like a 7 damage ETB.
So much. Yeah, it is time walk. So what comes out of this Urza saga is going to be the clincher. Like if this is Black
Yeah,
Lotus,
big time.
find your 4-point card or something.
Honestly, they set up so much. I'm expecting I've lost.
Yeah, you've definitely lost here, right? They've gone to 5, like the combo decks, like this is fine, this is fine, this is fine. I'm on 1, that's more life, and now I'm gonna come
Yep, Zero and Orb, that looks like a combo card. Now I know I got rid
ready
of
for fast bond.
the fast bond, but there's exploration, there's other
Transmute
cards.
artifact. Okay,
That
go.
looks like a combo card,
Yeah,
sure.
you're dead.
Yeah. I used to play Transmute Artifact, but it's been such a long time I had to read it. It's like Court of Calling and Flash mixed together.
Ash, Court of Calling, and Tinker had
Yeah.
weird love child.
Do you know what the art looks like that?
It is having a weird love child of all of those cards.
Please kill me.
Is this going to be like a Crucible of Worlds and then like play fetch land and then, gain infinite life or something?
I
Yeah.
want the audience to know that I was like very relaxed at this point. Not because I think I'm gonna win, but because I'm just like I said last turn, like just let me know when I get to turn them sideways. If I
Just living
don't,
blissful
I don't.
ignorance. I know that you've won. You just have to find the line, but you're going to win. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
let
chill.
me know when you find it, and I'll just turn them sideways.
I mean, this is the state of this is the reason, much to my chagrin when building a deck in Highlander. Like I said, Mono Blue Design Mistakes is the deck that I absolutely will not sleeve up because it's not fun to me. But it is absolutely what I should sleeve up because it's the best deck to play.
Well,
And
this is ideal for you, Sarv,
mucking,
because you
yeah, I
get
know,
to
I'm
design
mucking
it
it,
and then
transmute
live through me.
tinkers, and like I want to do all these fun combo things. Oh, Bolus is Citadel, like I want to do all these fun combo-y things, and then I'm like, oh, my combo deck loses to all the mid-range decks. Oh, maybe my combo deck's not good.
Well, the good news for you is, you can stay on your little high horse,
Yeah, and you can play the deck.
and I'll play the
I have
deck,
to play it.
and you get vindicated. Like, yeah, I know it's good. I
I know it's
designed
good. I
it.
just
I know
want to
it's
play a fun
good.
deck. I want to have fun. Do you want to have fun or do you want to win? And right now, I want to have fun because I'm not on the committee anymore. I just get to have fun, muck around. And here you can play Nano Blue design mistakes.
Gosh, there is that pressure being on the committee that you're not allowed to play a fun deck because you have to keep
Oh
posting
yeah.
good results to justify. Like it's an unspoken rule, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That's why my win rate whilst I was on the committee was incredibly high. And now I leave the committee and I'm like, oh, I don't have to play the best deck anymore. This is great. My win rate is atrocious.
Yeah, dude,
Like,
I still feel
so
like
bad.
that, and I was never on the committee. I still feel that way. I feel that pressure. So I can only imagine it's even worse when you're on the committee. Now, this was awful because
Wow.
Moto didn't crash, but the game just disappeared. And I was like,
Oh, I guess I
what?
lost.
And like I could see my opponent was in the tank for ages. I had them dead on board. They had Zero and Orb, but like there's no fast bond. So it's dawning on me that there's no. I know we were joking about me saying just let me know, but I was doing the maths in my head and I thought I don't think there's many cards that get my opponent out of this because they're in such low life total
Mhm.
and there's no fast bond for the Zero and Orb.
And you're,
Um,
Moto, what's happened? What's my I don't know what I'm doing.
yeah, so I'm freaking out. I'm like, this is my opponent. I'm like, hey mate.
Hey, quarterfinals match.
Thank you for the game.
I mean, that's kind of a flex, right? Where you're like, I, um.
So that if you have a quick little scan, I'm doing it pretty quick, but on Moto, I'm in game history there, and it does say that I won 2-0 in the game history.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go. 2-0. 2-0. I replayed
And
the
then you replay
game.
just to find out what happened.
Yeah. It looks like it just ended and Moto didn't show me the like congratulations, you won the match screen.
Right.
But it was recorded and logged.
Do you know what's really funny here? You didn't draw a single sideboard card nor play a single sideboard card. The
That's a
entirety of
good
your
point.
game was Mana Dork, a threat, another threat, turn them sideways, go into the Undercity. That was it. Like you didn't even interact with them.
Yeah, it's
So
true.
this is
I ate
like,
one fast bond with a prismatic ending. And importantly, I didn't want any more removal than that. One was enough.
mm-hmm.
One was more than enough.
Yeah, good point. Yep. And that prismatic ending, it's just like a dorky generic removal spell. It's not even like oh, this is specifically for the wheels combo-y deck. So yeah. I mean, you just won with like fair creature cards and turn them sideways, and a removal spell, generic removal spell.
But the important thing about that game is I never got the
Don't bother
endorphins.
playing combo until all of these cards get pointed, until broadside bombardiers and every
Okay,
other
good.
like amazingly good card that is 0 points gets pointed. Just don't bother playing combo. You're just gonna have a cry like me.
Well, I've got all this stress pent up because I didn't get that like, I won. I can relax. I was like all nervous and even once I checked the game log and it was all above board and I was like, yeah, I'm in the semi. Even when I was in the semis match, I was like, still like I never got that I'm owed one endorphin hit. I'm
Yeah,
owed it.
I think if you lodge a ticket, you might get send mail,
Mono owes me
get your
endorphins.
hit.
But I'm in the semis. I'm in the semis.
You're in the semis, so there you go. That's the end of round whatever quarterfinals.
We're officially
Um,
deep.
we're officially deep in the semifinals. So we'll see you in the semifinal match.
Look forward to it.